Hello everybody and welcome to today's gameplay video of Monster Hunter World, the board game. In today's video I want to show you just a demo, several turns and rounds of the game to give you an idea of how Monster Hunter World, the board game, plays. Mainly this part here, the hunter or the hunting phase, when you're actually going into the fight to hunt down the monster that you chose for that game. So Monster Hunter World, the board game, is almost exactly like the video games. I've played them a little bit. I enjoy them, but I could tell from my experience with the video game, it is very much like it. So if you're interested in how well they capture the Monster Hunter World video games, I think they do a really good job. So some of you who are even more into those games are really gonna like just that aspect alone. So in this game, what you're going to do is you're going to go into a battle, fight a monster, hopefully take it down, and then you're going to collect bits of the monster and different crafting material in order to craft more items, more weapons, more armor, and go back and do it again. So you get a little character sheet, almost like a campaign sheet, where you're going to note all of the different materials that you collect, monster parts, stuff that you do build. You're going to annotate it here, and then this is your tracker here. So in the base game, you're going to have 25 days to try and knock out a level 4 monster. So while you're doing that, you get to fight any of the monsters that you want to. Actually, if you look here at this other camera, if you look here at the star there, that's the level. So we're going to fight the third monster out of the 4 that come in the box. And this is the Anjanath. So it's kind of like a T-Rex. I've not fought this monster in the video game. So this thing spits fire, stomps around, and lashes its tail. So I'm pretty excited to fight this thing. Okay, so what I didn't want to demonstrate, because it can be kind of boring on camera, is the kind of the gathering phase. So before you actually start a fight, you're going to set the game up. You're going to set your timer deck, which I've already done over here on the side. And you're going to use this choose your own adventure type book to hunt down that monster. So again, if you look here, we have the level 1, 2, and 3. Since we're just going to be playing the level 1, this is how it gives you a little setup of the board here. So we've already got that, the pieces of terrain on the board, and we'll get into that during gameplay. And then it's going to tell you where to start. So we're going to start at point 1. We go there. You're going to read the little section there, and then it's going to tell you what to do. Well, you might have choices. A lot of them do. You'll have 2, 4 choices. And the point of this part of the game is that you're trying to hunt down the monster, and you're going to be collecting bits, and there's going to be a little bit of story going on. You might take some damage. You might follow the wrong trail. There might be something tempting, like more treasure or something like that. So you don't want to linger too long. So it's kind of a trade-off between getting stuff that you can use for future adventures and trying not to make it too hard when you actually get into the battle. So what happens is you'll collect some of these scout tokens, and they all have numbers on them. Some of them are even negative numbers, but you want to get as many of those as you can, because right at the end you're going to check the number against the level that you're fighting, and that'll tell you a special behavior card that's going to be put into the monster's deck. So the higher that number, the better it is for you, and I've already done that. So these are the 2 that won't be going in its deck. I added the third one, so that was the one in the middle. And usually the last one. So if you take long to hunt him down, he's going to get his best card. So that's already done here and shuffled, and I think we're ready to jump in. Let me explain a little bit about my play areas. So I've got 2 hunters. You could play with just 1 hunter if you want to. I like playing with 2 just because of the tactical aspect, and it gives a monster another option. You could play with 3, but as you can see on my table, it's a pretty decent sized table. Having more than 2 characters would probably be a bit too much. So I've got a really straightforward character here. This is the sword and shield. All right, and let's call him, we're going to call him Rojo. So Rojo over here, he is the sword and shield. He's got his dashboard. He's got his stuff out here. They're leveled up just a little bit, so they got a couple of fights under their belt and a couple of downtime activities to trade stuff in. In a 1 or 2 player game, you also get a Palico. So if you know these from the video game, they're just these cats that'll help you. They have a one-time benefit during the fight. So both of them have those. And I'll just give you a quick little shot of, I've got an upgraded steel knife. I've got the alloy helm, leather helm. So this is his basic gear there, and then the bone greaves. So he's upgraded in 3 slots except the one. And then show you these guys. The gun lance, bone helm, bone mail, and the trousers. So he is a little more complex. I wanted to show you one that's more straightforward and one that has some special rules. So the gun lance, he has these shell cards he can use, that he can flip down to add more damage as he goes through the fight. At a certain point, I will want to reload those to sharpen my weapon. We'll go over that when we get there. The Anjanath, he's got 65 starting health, and he's got a reckless aggression here. Each time the monster suffers 4 or more damage from an attack card, after the attack is resolved, the monster moves 2 nodes forward. So if he takes a lot of damage, he's just going to try to get closer to his targets. With that being said, I'm not going to go over all the rules. I'll cover stuff as we go. And let's get started by drawing our hand. Now, the monster, he's going to go first. Okay, a couple things. The first thing, we're going to read this from left to right. He's going to target the closest. So he's either going to target the closest or the furthest. So he targets the closest. He's going to move 4 in the direction of that target. And then he's going to attack in the wedge right in front of him. And then it's just going to be a range of 1, 8 damage. And this is the dodge value. So let's cover what all that stuff does. So he is going to first find whoever's the closest. So if you can see, these are called nodes here, 1, 2, 3. And you count them in diagonals as well, 1, 2, 3. Since we both are equidistant, he's going to go after the monster with the highest threat. So we start with these threat tokens. So we've got 5 and 8. So the gun lance is the bigger threat right now. So he's going to turn and face. If you look here, he's got these little notches that I've painted on here. If it wasn't painted, you would see these grooves in the miniature itself. Isn't this guy cool? Look at that. Pretty sweet. So he is going to face, and then he's going to move his 3, and we can decide which way he goes as long as he's going 1 node closer. That's 1. He faces again, 2, and then 3. And now we've got a choice to move either to the left or to the right. I think what we'll do is that I don't want him to kind of target both, and his tail is pretty vulnerable compared to his other parts, and I'll tell you why in a second. So the gun lance is going to move this way since he's going to get hit anyway, and Anjanath is right in his face. Then he's going to, so that was his movement. He's going to attack in a range 1, just in his front, the front facing direction. So he could possibly attack in any or all of those directions. So let's get focus on that. And he's just going to do it in the front there. So he's going to deal 8 damage. So I have a couple choices here. I could take that 8 damage, or I can try and dodge it. So if you look in the bottom left here, that's the dodge value. So what I can do is I can play cards onto my board, and I can only have at most 5 cards face up or down. So it becomes a decision of how much I want to clog up my stamina board. The more cards I put there, the less I can do when it comes back to me as far as attacking goes. So if we look up in the top right corner of the card, you'll see these values here. Those are the dodge value of the cards. So I can play up to 5 to try and dodge. And I don't think I want to dodge. 5 is a lot. That's going to take at least 3 cards. I think I figured out what I want to do. So don't look for me for strategy. I'm not sure if this is a great thing to do, but I do have these two here. I'm getting rid of a really good attack card, Improved Burst. So I'm getting rid of this because it needs to be played in a certain sequence, and we'll get to what that means. But I don't know that I want to take. I would be taking 5 damage. So he's got 8, but I've got 3 armor with what I have equipped on my character here. So, and I do have some more of those cards in the future. So I'm going to place that for 2, 2, and 1. Okay. So I've got 3 of the 5 slots taken up now, but that's 5, so I get to dodge that. And then I also get to move equal to the number of nodes as my dodge value. So I think all I will do is, let's see, let's just slide. We're just going to slide over here. We'll stay right there. We'll stay, give us some options when it comes back to us. We'll see what we're going to do. All right, so it's going to come back to us. So we look at this bottom number here on the right, and it tells us 2 things here. So how many player turns and how many cards you can play on those turns. So 2 player turns and 2 cards per player. Now we can't just have the same hunter go twice. That's what these tokens are here to remind us. At this point, we can choose either character whose token is flipped face up. So we might as well go with the Gunlance here. So we're going to flip this down to show that we're taking our turn, and we get to play 2 cards. So a couple of things with these cards. So I'm going to be playing Burst. So we already know what the top part does. So what that is the dodge value. And then in the bottom left, you have the range. You'll also have potentially a break value. And this number represents how many cards you have to have played down on the board before you can play that card. So we're going to play Burst, okay, which is just a range of 1. This attack card ignores 1 monster armor. So we're going to play that first. And on the top of that card, there were 2 of the shell symbols. So the special rules for the Gunlance is it's going to flip 2 shells. And I get to draw 2 attack cards from this deck here. So that's made up of the cards that come on your weapon card here. So it tells us we've got 7 1s, 4 2s, and 1 3 in there. Okay. So let's see what happens here. So card number 1 is just 1 damage, 2 damage. We get to ignore 1 armor. So on his, we're in the middle of his front and his side. So we actually get to decide between the 2. And I kind of like the idea of hitting here to try and work this down if we can do a break token to it. So he's got a 2. This also has a 2 up here. So it's really, the same either way. And so is his face there. And actually, let's do this. Let's do the Wrath of Meow while we're at it. So first off, let's resolve the burst. So the burst is going to apply that 2 damage, ignoring 1. So 2 minus 1 is just going to be 1. That didn't do too much, but we will work our way up there. So he's at 64. Before we play our second card, I'm going to play the Wrath of Meow. So if the monster is within 3 nodes of your hunter, draw 3 attack cards as if you were resolving an attack card. So we're going to draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh man. Okay, so that's 4 minus 2. That's just going to be 2 more damage. I was hoping for a lot better. So, but those are the breaks. All right, and then we're going to play our last card here, the Wormstake Cannon, which we're already going to draw 1 card. We're going to draw a shell card or flip it face down, and we met the requirements here. But we're also going to apply a break token. And when you reach the threshold of the number here in that gray, then that will break that part of the monster. there's a couple things that'll happen. One is on the back of this card, and at the end of the fight, you'll collect more monster materials, but you'll also possibly initiate a special thing here. So both of these have them. So if we break those, we'll cover what those are. But since I'm on its side and I have a plan to break its face, I'm going to place that here because this can remove a behavior card from the deck. So we're going to play that here. So that's 1 of 4. And let's do our damage. So we've got 2 cards to flip up. Okay, let's flip our shell card so we don't forget. And then we've got 2 cards to flip up. There's the 3. And 2, that's 5. That's great. So again, we're going to go here. 5 minus 2, that's 3 more damage. So he's already down to 59. That's the end of our turn. What we do is we're going to flip over time card, and we're going to do what it says. So all of the time cards say the same things at the top. You got the title, and then this is just basically the after turn action. So you're going to flip your hunter token face down. You're going to discard 1 attack card from the rightmost slot of your board. That's kind of just simulating your stamina regenerating, but it's only 1 card. You're going to discard any number of cards from your hand and then draw attack cards so you have 5. Since I'm out of cards, I'm just going to draw 5 from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll leave those there. So let's do this. We can leave our hand there and our damage. And he's ready to go for his next turn. We're going to look at the bottom here. All right, so these can be a little swingy. So we're going to roll a die on a 1 or 3. We're going to place a break token on the monster body part of your choice, 4 to 6. The hunter is going to suffer blast blight. So let's see if we can roll this within the camera. Well, I don't know if y'all can see that. We rolled a 1. So that worked out for us. We get to place a break token on any part. We're just going to keep working on the side there. Boom, so we're at 2. Okay, so that was the first turn, and I like using a die to show how many turns that we've taken. So we've had 2, we're down to 1. Because sometimes playing solo you can forget a little bit here. All right, so let's figure out what we want to do with Rojo. Senor Rojo. Okay, let's show you a combo. Let's see. All right, so he's got some fancy dancing we're going to do here. So we've got 2 cards to play. We're going to first play Backstep, which really just moves us back 1. Well, first off, let's take our move up 1. Then we're going to play Backstep to the board, which we back up 1 step further away from the monster. And then we're going to play Enhanced Advancing Slash. So this means we can move 2 in any direction, and then we get to play one damage card. But we get to draw 2 more if we played Backstep this turn. And we get a break token. So let's do the break token before we forget. And we're going to do this to its tail this time. You can see here, it needs 4, and it's only got 1 defense. So we're going to play that down. We're going to move up 2. We're within that 1 range. And we're going to draw 3 damage cards. Let's see what we got. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against its defense of 1. And that's going to deal 4 damage. This bad boy is down to 55. So we're at 10 damage already. We played our 2 cards, and that is it for us. Let's also play our Molotov cocktail. We might as well before we forget. You can see here we can attach. We can decide. We can place break tokens on one part of the monster up to its break value. So I'm going to place it on the one that has the most, and that actually affects him the most. So instead of placing all the gray, we apply this, and this means that it is broken. So any more break tokens we apply here isn't going to matter. And now behaviors with fire, the fire element, have -1 attack, which is great. All right, and his turn is over. Let's draw a time card, and it says threat shift. So flip your hunter token face down, and when they are all face down, you flip them face up. and then we do the rest of our turn. We'll do that here in a second. Let's look at the bottom part. All players pass their hunter token to the player to their left. So in this case, we're just going to be switching them. And let's do the end of turn stuff and jump back into the monster turn. Okay, so we've done our end of turn. We've swapped our tokens. So now the Gunlance has 5 threat. Sword and Shield has 8. We need to name the Gunlance. Oh, let's make it simple. So that's going to be Verde and Rojo. All right. So green and red. We draw a monster card. Whoop. Okay, so again, we read from left to right. We're going to target the closest, move 1 space. So the closest, again, they're equidistant, but this time Rojo, who is behind him, has the higher threat. So he's actually going to turn around and move 1 space. So he got that hit from behind. He knows there's somebody back there, and he's going to move up. And now we've got a choice to either move to the side or stay in place. So we have to choose one of these nodes. Let's, for the sake of mixing things up, let's move him this way. Okay, and then he finishes his movement by facing the character he's getting ready to attack. So now he's going to do 2, and this is going to actually affect us both. So in a range of 2, in every direction, if you see that, it's every direction. It's going to be an attack of 7 with 5 as the dodge value. So this is going to be interesting here because he could potentially hit us both. Now here's the dilemma for Verde is that he's got almost a full board, and there's no way I can play 1 card to fill 5. So he's going to have to take that damage. So let's do that first. So it's going to be, you also look on the card to see if there's any elemental. When it's there, I'll show you. But for these 2 cards, there isn't any element. So this is just 7 physical damage. I block 3. Actually, this should be at 8 because I didn't take that damage on that first attack. So this one does go through. I soak 3. I take 4 damage, so I am at 4. And just so you know, you do get potions and things you can collect and buy. I do have 2 potions, health potions that I can use during this fight. So Verde is going to take that attack. He takes 4 damage. And now I've got to decide what to do with Senor Rojo. I think here's what I want to do. So if you look on this monster card, this game is full of so many decisions. So I know this is going to sting. It's going to take 4 damage out of me. This is what I'm interested in here. I get to play 3 cards on each of the next 2 turns for these guys. So I want to take advantage of that. I don't want to fill up my board. So let's see what happens here. I don't want to avoid this. And just to reiterate, as far as the attack goes, so it's in every direction in 2 nodes. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And he's this way, 1, 2. So essentially, the Anjanath, he moves and he does this spin with his tail and just smacks everybody with his tail. I'm going to go ahead and apply that damage. So it's 7 minus 3. And I'm down from 8 to 4. All right. And that concludes his turn. One more thing I want to point out about these monster cards, if you look here on the back of them, they'll give you an idea of what they plan to do next. So it gives you an idea of who they're going to target. So on your player turns, you can try to figure out, who you want to be closest and furthest away. And then this is going to give you an idea of what part of its body it's using. This doesn't help you on a first time play, but as you play the monsters over and over again, just like you do in the video game, you'll learn their attacks. So that'll help you, when you play in future games. So I don't know the game that well. I don't know the Anjanath that well. So we're just going to go with it. So he's already done. He's hit both of us with his tail. And now we're going to go back to the players. And we're going to set our die to 2 just to remind us how many player turns we have left. And now because both tokens are flipped up, we can decide again who we want to go this time. And I think I wanted to show you something really cool as well. So we've gotten to see a combo from Senor Rojo, and he's going to go again. We're going to play one of these cards, and you can see this has this kind of symbol here as opposed to, or that line, as opposed to one of these, which the line continues on to the edge. What that means is this needs to be the last card played in the sequence. And it also, if you look again in the bottom right corner, I need to have 2 cards played face up on my board. And since I can play 3 cards this time, I can actually pull this off. Okay, and I've got an idea. Let's do Chop. Okay, so Chop is just going to draw 1 card. Okay, that's going to be a 2. Actually, before we finish that, let's take our free movement because we want to try and we want to try and keep working on its side here. So we're going to take our free movement to its side down here, and then we play Chop, which is just that 2. So 2 and 2. If you look here, its defense is 2, but at a minimum, when you attack and if it does block, you will still do at least a minimum of 1 damage. So not great. He is down to 54, but we've got a couple other cards to play. Oh, shouldn't have drawn that. Okay, we're gonna play Rounding Slash. So you see here, we get the option to move, but I will not do that. So we're gonna draw 3 damage cards. I know what this is, but let's see, 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 minus 2. That's gonna be another 2 damage. And then for the last card, as we said, we're going to do the Sword and Shield combo, which lets us draw 3. We're going to do a break token, and we need to have 2 cards placed face up, which we have all 3 of those things happening. Let's not forget our break token on its side. We need 1 more, and we break that. And I just realized I did miss his special effect. I don't think it would have made too much. If anything, it hurt me more because the Anjanath was able to hit us both. So that's fine. But let's draw our 3 attack cards. So that's 1, 3, 4. Not great. And we can see our damage cards are running low. We've only got 3 left, and so we might have to take a preparation turn before we continue going here. So let's go ahead and apply our 2 damage. Since he blocks another 2 from the side. Okay. And that is all. So after his turn is done, we're going to flip this because we know that's coming. We can discard any cards we want, which I don't think I'm going to discard Slinger Shot. It's his only ranged attack, but I'm not really looking for range. 3, 4, 5. We're going to discard our rightmost card. So we've got 2 freed up slots. Let's draw a time card. And it says, okay, we've done everything up top already. Wiggly Litchi. You may discard all attack cards from your stamina board. Now I'm just getting really lucky. Some are good, some are bad, some are random. Oh. All right, so you may discard all attack cards from your stamina board. That is great. So some of those could swing the other way. There's some cards that, will make you discard time cards. Okay, so we're all set up. And we've got 1 more player turn. We're going to swing right back to our Gunlance, and let's see what he can do. We've still got 2 shells facing up, but we can really only play 1 card. Now this is really bad for us because this would have been an opportunity to really wail on him. And I do want to at least play 1 card. So we could do a preparation turn, which is where we get to reshuffle our damage cards. So the way this works is that whenever you run out of damage cards, let's say I were to play an attack card and I had, I could draw 3, but I only had 1 left here, I would only draw that 1. So my weapon wouldn't be as effective anymore. So as it stands, I've got 5 cards left in this deck. So I could push 1 more time here. Okay, let's play our charge cell. So we've got 2 of these. Yeah, so this actually worked out for us, and you'll see why. So I would like to play improved full burst, but you can see I need to have 2 face-up cards before I can play this. 3 out of my 4 cards are face down. But we can play Charged Shell. So Charged Shell is a range 1. I get to draw 2 attack cards plus 1 of my shells. So that's 3 cards. And I can't play this if I already played another attack card this turn. So this will be the time to use this since I only have room for 1 right on the end of my board. That's my 5th card. But we're going to draw 3 damage cards. And actually, we know that 1's coming. I wanted to take my move. I have to move. And again, I move right here on his tail or his hind legs. Okay, so we flipped over that 1. We've got 3 to flip over. That's 1 damage, 2, 3, 4, 5 against his 1 defense. So that's 4 damage coming through. And we are working him down. So he's at 46. I believe I said 4 damage. And because he's got 4 damage, let's do his special ability. So Reckless Aggression. Each time this monster suffers 4 or more damage from an attack card, after the attack is resolved, the monster moves 2 nodes forward towards the farthest target. So I guess he's a little confused on where that damage came from. They're both tied, so he's going to actually pursue Rojo. So he spins. He's smacking this guy in his face over here. Faces him, and he's going to move. What did it say? 2. So he moves 1. Again, I get a choice of moving here or here. Let's move here. Okay, then he moves, he turns, and he moves again. He's going to land on this bush, and I get to choose one of the 3 nodes in front. So again, I want to try and play this so that I can always attack him on his tail. So he moves there. And let's finish off the turn for the gun lance. We're going to flip this face down, which flips both face up. Do we want to discard any cards? All right, so I want to keep all my cards. This is a pretty good hand here, so I'm just going to draw 1. I'm going to discard the rightmost card, and again, we only have 1 slot there. Okay, that's our hand. Draw a time card, and that's going to be our second player turn. Tactical Shift. We do all up top already. Up to 2 hunters may move up to 1 node each. We can see here on the next card that's coming, he's going to be targeting the farthest. Right now, our gun lance is 1, 2, 3 away. Rojo has more of a chance to dodge. So again, if I left it as is, he'd be the next target. So knowing what's coming, I'm going to actually take that opportunity. I'm going to move him 1 up, and I'm going to back Rojo up 1. So he's going to go this way. We're going to take the fight back here. So he starts backpedaling. So now they're both 2 nodes away, but since he's got the higher threat, he's going to actually get targeted. So the sword and shield, he's going to try to tank here a little bit. All right, so let's actually flip that over and see what's happening here. It might be attacking with his face. So that might be a fireball or something coming. Here we go. And this is going to target the farthest. So we flip up. Yep, there it is. So he's targeting the farthest. He's going to move 2 towards him. So let's do that first. So he's going to go 1, 2. And then we can decide one of the 3 nodes in front there. So now we're going to show you how this terrain works. So there's 3 different terrain on the board right now. You've got bushes, rivers, and like hills. The bushes, if you go on a bush, your threat is -4. If you go on a river, you have to play a card down or discard a card from your damage deck. Sorry. You have to discard so your weapon kind of whittles down a little bit. So it's not great to move through the rivers. And then the hills are really nice because they let you move. So I move onto this hill and I get a free move. I'm going to move this way. Then he moves, what was that? That was 1, 2, and then I end up moving. So I just had to double check something in the rule. So even though he does move on that hill, after he's finishing moving, Rojo is finished moving, the Anjanath faces him. So now he's cornered against the wall, and he's going to finish doing this attack. The gun lance is way out of the way here, so this is going to be an attack of. So this is going to be an attack of 3 range. It's going to be just in his front arc. It's going to be 8 fire elemental damage, and I've got 5 dodge value if I want to do this. So, and then also we've got 3 player turns. All right. Now, when it comes to elemental damage, it is not going to be blocked by my gear that doesn't have elemental blocking value. So let's see the behavior though with. So this is actually going to be 7 because we broke its head a little bit. This is a fire elemental damage, so it's -1. But I don't think that's going to really matter. All right, so I think what we're going to do in the interest of showing you one more thing in the game, I'm going to decide to take that damage. So I'm going to take all of that damage. If there's any other statuses or anything else that the monster would apply, we would ignore it. That would be in this bottom right corner here. But we're just going to take that 8 damage. We're not going to play any cards down. Okay, so when a hero faints, your hunter faints and is removed from the board, you discard 2 time cards. So we're going to lose a little bit of time. We're going to remove Rojo from the board, put him here. His health is going to go back up to 8 when we get there. We're going to discard 2 time cards, so now we're wasting time, or losing time. Discard any status ailments. At the start of your next turn, place your hunter on one of the starting nodes from the scenario book. We're going to return the health out of the full, draw attack card so you have 5 in hand, and if the hunters faint 3 times, we lose. So that's 1 of those 3 times. So you just have to keep track of that in some way. Let's put a X here on our board. You can track this however you want to. I'm going to place an X next to the character to show that he's been knocked out. He's fainted once. So we already have our hand of 5 cards. We would clear this board. We still need to sharpen our weapon, but he comes off of the board here. So his turn is done. And let's go back here. Let's show you one more turn. This is a preparation turn. So on a preparation turn, you can still walk and sprint. I haven't showed you what that is, and using a potion. So walking is your once per turn you can move to any node around you. Okay. Sprinting is playing a card from your hand face down onto your board to move another node. So again, you could place one face down, but that again is taking up space on your stamina board to move another node in any direction that you want to. So I do want to do a preparation. I don't know that I want to move. Let's try, since I'm the only one on the board and I've got 3 player turns here. So this is going to waste one of these player turns. He's going to target the closest. And let's just hope that he can't actually do anything. So we're going to back our way over here. So we back ourselves into a corner and we get ready. We're going to take our damage cards. So all of them, the ones you've played and not played, you take them all, you shuffle them. Now my weapon has been sharpened, which also reloads my shells. So I've got those 5 ready to go. And I could still use a potion if I wanted to. I don't think I will. He's probably going to knock me out. I'll save the 2 potions when I'm really desperate. I'm going to leave it as is and see what happens. And then we're going to do a time card. So same thing, that uses one of its turns. So I flip this face over, discard any cards that I want to. I think I'm going to keep my hand. I discard the rightmost card. So I didn't play any cards. So that rightmost card gets flipped face up. Well, actually, I can actually do this as well. Going to retcon this a little bit, but let's say I use this card. So it says this is quick reload. And it says I can discard this card and flip over 3 of your shelling cards. I've sharpened anyway, they're all face up, but this is the part I'm interested in. Or discard any one attack card from your stamina board. So I'm going to play that, and that's going to let me clear up another space on my stamina board. So that's just the equivalent of me taking a knee. I saw him knock out Rojo over here. That kind of scared me. Backed up a little bit, gathered myself, sharpened my weapon, and now I'm ready to go. I go back up to 5 cards, and he's done with a preparation turn. So I think that's gonna be it for the demo. I think you guys have seen enough turns. It just kind of continues like that with us, fighting the Anjanath. He's down to 46 health at this point, so managed to knock out about 20 hit points from him. So it's about a third of the way through. Obviously, if I wasn't talking, the game would be a little faster. So we're getting close to about an hour on the video. I'm sure it'll shrink down a little bit after editing. But I hope you've seen enough in the game that this has to offer. Once you fight the Anjanath, that's going to end with you winning, defeating him, knocking him down to 0 hit points, in which case you automatically win. I was doing pretty good on time. That deck is still pretty full. So as long as I get to knock him out before he knocks me out 2 more times, and it could be the same character getting KO'd 3 times, or a mix of the two, and I would defeat him. And let me just show you the back of this board here. On the back of their card, this is where you would collect any of the new stuff after defeating him. So you would roll some dice. In a 2-player game, you roll 3 dice, and you can use the face values. You can combine them or separate them to get you better gear, and then as well as what you've broken. So if I broke this part already, and if let's say I managed to break this part of him as well, I would automatically get the gear or the monster parts for those two. So I would automatically get this Anjanath Fang and the Anjanath Scale, and that would contribute to, let me show you the forging stuff. So this is the player card, and if you guys didn't know, this was if I didn't mention it, this is a custom miniature that I made on Hero Forge. The minis of this game are great. Obviously, if you see the gun lance is pretty sweet. So what you're going to do on here on this card is you're going to look and see, maybe this shot is better over here. Not great. But there's 2 sides to this card. So you see you have the different weapons that you can build. You just gather the required ingredients. So these are your starting ones that you can choose from. But then you can build, the steel knife. So I've built the steel knife. So I've gathered these elements, or these different parts. So there's just different things I've gotten from other fights and just randomly from the adventure book. And then they have to be built in this order. So if you want to build this one, you have to have had this, then this, then this, and it goes all the way over to here. And if you can see here, the Rathalos, the Heat Edge, is one of the strongest weapons here. And then on this side, you can see all of the different armors that you can build. And you don't have to build these in any particular order, but you would still need to get the required bits in order to build them. As you can see, I built the Bone Greaves, and that needed, right there, I needed a monster bone small and an ancient bone. And so, yeah, you go back and forth between town and going out doing a new hunt until you either defeat that level 4. And let me just take a pause, and I'll show you guys a shot of the other miniatures and their cards as well. All right, we're back, and here is the Great Jagras. Not sure which one of these cameras they're going to show up best on, but there's him. This is the Tobi-Kadachi. And I don't think I painted them lore accurate, but Yeah, they're my minis, and just like you should treat your game, it's your game. So paint them however you want. And then the Rathalos, I tried to stick a little close with this guy. This thing is huge. And let's see if I can even get this guy in a shot. Wow. Yeah, he's pretty cool though. A little bit of blending. So anyway, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me any comments below. Also, if you want to see a full playthrough, if I get enough requests, I'll try to reset the game up in the future and finish it, or I can, fight a different monster if you guys would like to see that. But just let me know. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Check out the other stuff on the channel, and have a great day.